I think banning transgender. sorry. I think that banning gender reassignment surgery for people in their mid teens and under who don't have some sort of biological weirdness going on, it's perfectly okay with me. Just not if you compare it to like actual abuse. I mean, I suppose it's possible to be abused, but I wouldn't say it's a default. Like, here's what I'm thinking. Sure, there's Kim Petras with competent, whatever, 21st century parents, blah, blah, blah. The thing is, Americans aren't like that, and there's a lot of crazy people out there, especially on the left. And after 2014, like, a lot of left wing crazies have been exploding with MLM movements, the crystal science bullshit, a lot of stuff. So I think banning transgender surgery for America uh, below the age of, say, 16 makes sense. But I wouldn't, make it a necessarily an abuse thing. I think that there should be an allotment for abuse, maybe some sort of gender abuse charge or something like that. This is because of cults. I'm really annoyed by cults, MLMs, crystal science, all kinds of crazy bullshit. And couple that with influencer culture and stupid people like TikTok girls. Like, look at the Matthew Perry thing. Some girl clicks to speak to him, and he's creepy because he didn't say anything inappropriate whatsoever. But she's chasing clout. She's chasing clout. Couple that with the mentality of an MLM, where if you say 7.5% of MLM employees are profitable, it's automatically a scandal because everyone knows it's something like 0.2%. Like the top of the top of the top can sell shit. Influencers, if they have enough clout, can sell shit. Whereas regular people cannot sell shit. Like their expenses versus their profit, their revenue, there's no profit there. They're just wasting their life. And you have these group meetups where they hire celebrities to sing and blah blah blah, and it's just fucking ridiculous. Couple that with someone like Big Red, who like barges into people's meetings and accuses them of all kinds of stuff, and then she just casually goes on like blah blah blah, well, blah blah blah, blah blah blah. Well, I think they should do something that's like, and then she defines exactly what the people she's bitching about do, and but in her mind, everyone's a Nazi, like stupid shit like that. So I definitely think there should be some sort of an allotment in terms of charges for something like this for influencer moms. I recently heard about a scandal in the Ukraine where an 8-year-old was mock marrying a 13-year-old and wearing weird shit for clout, for a scandal of it, for the celebrity of it, because her mom is a moron. And it's kind of fucking weird. Fucking crazy. So couple that with weird crystal science bullshit and feminine energies and masculine energies, all that nonsense, and you end up with fucking bullshit people who really manipulate their kids. Like, seriously. But in principle, I do think that in America, 16 years old or younger is too young to arrange for a gender reassignment thing. This is because transitioning after there's like a detransitioning thing I heard about on Blair White. And yeah, some girls, when they're really small, go through a tomboy phase because they feel very small relative to the big strong guys in their classes. So, high school bullying can seriously affect people's mentality. And if you start taking hormones under 16, it will influence your brain. it will influence how you think about things. So I don't think it's a healthy thing to transition people under 16. Like, I'm fine with them wearing outfits or whatever. I don't have a problem with that. Bathrooms, whatever, unisex, blah blah blah. Who gives a fuck? But you know, Americans are really stupid people. I'm just gonna say that. Like, Americans are pretty stupid people. Italians are really stupid people. I live in Bulgaria. We have a lot of stupid people here. There's stupid people all over the place, everywhere. Like, realistically, doctors aren't always trustworthy. It's very easy to find crazy nut idiot doctors who do weird shit. Like, if someone, well, this is a story from the 70s or 60s, I think. There was a story where some idiot went through like 30 or 300 tests, a bunch of tests of transplanting a heart from different species, and none of his test subjects survived past 3 months, but he convinced a pair of parents to get a heart transplant from an animal, cutting them off from a transplant list. And when he was asked about this, why he didn't use a monkey or an ape that was closer in the evolutionary tree, he said he didn't believe in evolution. Now, that is an extreme example from the 70s, but then you have the 90s, where a guy invents his own vaccine to counter some other vaccine, and then he does surgery on kids, and he invents a study making some vaccine dangerous in terms of autism, and then people test that, and it turns out he's full of bullshit, and no one can replicate it, and the available data, like, every decade we have some sort of big medical scandal, like whether it's cigarettes or the opiate crisis. So I can very easily see crazy idiot doctors shilling to MLMs for money and convincing people that transitioning, even if the signs are not there, is the right thing to do. So I am very skeptical about, the legitimacy of the testing. Like, I know there's a lot of crazy people out there. Crazy people in positions of power. Crazy people that could do serious damage, So I don't think that it's gonna be necessarily there's gonna be any sort of effect on the suicide rate if more people transition more early. I mean, there's so many factors to take into account when it comes to people being suicidal, and there's genetic questions, there's all kinds of questions. So I don't know if it's a good idea. Prove me wrong, send me some data.